I'm well aware that I've already made a clip praising Lando for being the next world champion. Of course, after Max decides to retire in 20 years. But I just have to comment on this. What a fucking race. Going into the Austrian Grand Prix, we at this point were witness to a pretty typical sight. Max was on pole, flying off way past the DRS reach within the first 3 seconds of the race, while Lando, although starting second, was much more bothered keeping his antsy British compatriot behind than trying to get Max. And at that point, I think many of us had just about zoned out of the race and were putting on our coats to go drink our sorrows away at the pub. But, for those that stuck around, fucking hell.
Nice.
You're not allowed to do that.
No, I know. It's
just dangerous.
No.
It's not clever, is it?
You forced me to go wide.
It's clear.
Just head down, mate. Head down.
Oh, Jesus.
The only thing I have to say is fucking finally. This is what I'm doing this for. This is F1 at its fucking finest. Two absolute talents going away at each other lap after lap after lap, trying to secure the win and fighting for the fucking championship. Who knew F1 could be actual fun? In any case, I think it's pretty clear that this is turning into a two-horse race. One that many of us had certainly hoped for, and some of us predicted. Well, fine, I didn't exactly predict it, but I also didn't talk shit about him, okay? Maybe I did. What I'm trying to get to here is, in my opinion, even though there are 19 other drivers on the grid, Lando is the only actual rival of Max Verstappen. And here's why. These two have a pretty similar story. In fact, from a certain perspective, you could say that Lando is currently walking the shoes of a 2020 Max Verstappen. He came into the team right away showing his colours as a pure talent. What I mean is, there are some F1 drivers that come into the sport, you have all these expectations of them, people are praising them as the next world champion, it can't go wrong, and then they're just so fucking bad that in the next 2 months, all they're known for is their 3 DNFs, 2 last places, and 5 cost safety cars. You know what? I'm actually realizing I'm just describing the average F1 rookie right now. That's fucking sad. But Lando straight away was a talent that was competing in an uncompetitive car. To refresh your memory, McLaren was at the time with Alonso, spearheading the blockbuster that was the McLaren F1 team. A fucking literal blockbuster. The team that could potentially pass as a shitty F2 team was experiencing a serious revamp, and with that, added to their roster a young F2 prospect. A literal fucking child. He had no patience, heavily lactose dependent, and spent his free time streaming on his phone. How the fuck did he end up here? In any case, he successfully rode out that wave of immaturity and fun, producing some of the most fucking funny moments in F1 history, by the way. Thank you, Lando. And then successfully transitioning through puberty with finally some 3 hairs beginning to sprout on his chin. And that was especially evident, in my opinion, in last week's race. Didn't hear a single scream. There was no panic in his voice. Everything was dealt in a calm manner. That is, not considering that he was still spamming the radio button every other corner, complaining about anything and everything. But that's F1 for you. A bunch of overpaid babies playing in the garden, running to mommy whenever the other kid won't share his toy. And we fucking love it. Max Verstappen. He was a talent from the start, immature, hilarious, and constantly angry when he was a child. Then a few too many pokes by the old men with the cameras, and he starts to mature and absolutely fucking demolish everyone on the track. So what I'm seeing here is a clear repeat of the pattern. Lando is quite visibly going through the same phases as Max Verstappen has, but with a few years lag. And that alone, I think, would make him one of Max's main competitors. But there's one thing that sets him far and wide apart from the rest of the grid. This is why he is Max's only true rival. The only one in the sport able to take the reign from Max. The chosen. What I mean is, they're friends. Really good friends. And while it might not seem too significant, Max doesn't have many friends. There are actually very few that he is as close to as he is with Norris. And what is particularly interesting is that he has remained such good friends while still racing on the same track. Keep in mind, Verstappen is well known for his cutthroat attitude with nothing but winning in his mind, which makes it all the more interesting, and I think important, that he sustained a very close friendship with Lando. I think what it comes down to is that he respects him. Of course, he loves spending time with the kid. They're both into all the same nonsense stuff in their free time, like playing racquetball in the cool evenings in Monte Carlo. I'd do that too if I was a 23-year-old millionaire living in Monaco. But even though their personal interests align, it is the respect between them that makes this friendship. And if Max has this much respect for Lando, that means he f***ing understands the potential he has to outcompete him. And that means there is truly something special about that boy. I should probably stop making every other video about Lando. I just can't help myself. Alright. I will go now. But stay tuned for the next episode in the greatest series of I will praise Lando until he becomes a champion, marries me, and we live happily ever after. Peace.